Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free.
Who knows?
God knows.
Yeah, God knows and everybody else. You know, I just wanted to break free. You know, the one thing I wanted to make sure we get to talk about with Stephen, because he's been covering this, involved in this for a long time, is that, you know, the principles in the race oftentimes aren't discussed. It's always personalities, and I don't like them, and ouch, quit it, and whatever. And that's why libertarians always interject themselves into this, so that the real issues that are of interest certainly to us, and we want the people educated so this stuff doesn't keep happening over and over and over. You put in the next guy and the same stuff happens, it's just with a shinier tie. So, you know, that's why we get in there, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to comment on this, and then I didn't want to forget to tell you about, you know, the Bill Montgomery you talked about, Michael Kielsky running against for county attorney, and I want to tell you a little inside there, but go ahead and give us, you know, what do you think are the issues that are really going to be brought up this time?
Well, you know, I think as far as the issue of immigration and what your last point before you went to the break, you know, I understand the desire of a lot of people to make the point that Kielsky wants to make on 1070. There are a couple of things. One, and he has, you know, kind of said, and you know, when I talked to him, that you know, what's the you know, if you just have another guy who would support 1070, then what's the point? Well, there are bigger issues than just 1070, but aside from that, if you want to stick on that, one thing is, as I said before, if you want to have a debate over immigration and LD18, then, you know, Pearce is going to win. I mean, that's just the way it is. Those are the political realities of that particular district. The second thing is that, you know, Pearce has an enormous amount of power as state Senate president. You know, Lewis is not going to have that kind of power when he comes into office. He's just going to be one of many other legislators. If you talk to that guy, I think you'd realize, one, he would not have voted for 1070. I don't know what he would say politically, but if you speak to him, you realize this is a rational human being. It's not like Pearce, where he's a one-note Johnny. You know, it's always immigration, always bashing the Mexicans, blah, blah, blah. Also, you know, Lewis did make a statement that was picked up on by a lot of people in the Capital Times, where he said that when they asked him about 1070, he was quoted as saying, well, that was a good start. It was kind of taken a little bit out of context to mean, oh, well, look, he supports 1070. Not exactly. He also supports the Utah Compact, which was a part of an attempt by people in Utah, including the Mormon Church, to have a more humane and rational discussion about immigration. It sort of acknowledged that, yeah, we need to secure the borders, all that good stuff, but we need to address the other reasons why people have come here and why people are here and have built families and have houses and yada, 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 and we can't go around just rounding them all up. And that's the position of the Mormon Church. The Utah itself passed last year kind of like its own version of 1070, but what was significant about what Utah's legislature did is they had this enforcement end, but they also had an end where they were going to basically have a way for people to, you know, become legal. Okay. Now, of course, they can't do that because the feds control immigration, yada, 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 so the states are not. It got held up in the courts just like 1070 is held up in the courts. But to get back to what I was saying about Lewis, he's also made, you know, he was interviewed in the, you know, for the Republic, and he did say, you know, I would work diligently to encourage the federal government to enforce the constitutional laws and policies relating to immigration, including securing the borders. I would also make it a priority to join all involved to consider the entire spectrum of immigration issues and be guided by principles of national security, respect for humanity, preservation of families, economic impact, and the safeguarding of American culture and society so we can create a reasonable and sustainable solution. So does that sound like Russell Pearce?
No.
No. So, I mean, I think we got a clear difference here. And, and that's why I say, I just wish we could all, what's interesting about this whole thing about Pearce is that so many people dislike him. There is this really interesting, it's almost like an army, and people coming from all walks of life, all religious backgrounds, all political affiliations.
Arrogance from ignorance.
Exactly. Focusing on getting rid of this guy who is so dangerous, getting him off, retiring him basically from public life.
But people don't understand. I've been following Russell. I've had him on the show probably 4 or 5 times. And in fact, I accumulated all of the shows. I just went ahead and put in preparation for inviting everybody to the event Saturday. I sent all that to Michael and to Jerry Lewis. I talked to him this morning, inviting him to the event. We didn't get into any details. I just said, look, this is what we're doing. This is who I am. This is what, you have any interest in the background and the chronology and why we're following. Here it is. Boom. Do what you want. Don't care. Don't know anything about you. We'll find out Saturday. The point is that there has been a long-term understanding from me that Russell is his own sort of bad guy. He has this elitist mentality that from the top we rule, we know better than you, and we're going to do it this way, and gosh darn it, I got the slap on the back from the big bad boys up higher. And this goes national, international. This is not just Arizona. And this database thing has been in my craw for a long time, and he knows it. And I'm just going, look, Russell, I can see from when in the 90s you were department head of the motor vehicle department, and you're screaming for more database stuff. And it came up when my sons became 15 and a half years of age, they get their learner permit. Well, my older son, he went through, no big deal, so on. My younger son, by the time he went to go get it, I'm going down there, I had to sign over the understanding that when he was 18, he would automatically be listed in the selective service, okay, to be ready for the draft. Like, wait, where the hell did this come from? That all of a sudden, as a parent, so that he can have the privilege to drive or even be a learner permit, I'm signing over him when he hits 18. I understand he's going to be on your database. Yeah. And I'm going, whoa, Russell Pearce. So I call Russell and I go, are you freaking kidding me? I'm saying, this is exactly what I'm talking about, this kind of mentality. Well, you gotta, I'm like, oh, man, he's serving a different master. So I'm going, I can see with it. So sooner or later, that with this kind of arrogance from ignorance, that he is going to put himself in exactly the position that he is now. So when I position myself in our opposition on principle and various different points of legislation and his rhetoric, it was with intent. It was with complete and great understanding that I wanted to be very clear where I was in opposition to his policies and why. And the big overriding issue was this. He was appropriations chairman.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you're there for what? He was always negotiating away some right for more money to write this kind of, what? We're in debt. And he was not a help. He was a hindrance.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point with that. And it's also significant to realize that Pearce is a puppet of very powerful interests outside of the state. It's very ironic that he's crying about where the money came behind the recall, to support the recall. Well, initially the recall was self-funding. I mean, Pearce took money out of his own pocket to get it kick-started, and most of the money they got was from within Arizona and was just small donations.
Well, Pearce's money, where does his come from? How
exactly.
much? Who was contributing to his locally?
Well, not, when it comes to LD18, in 2010, he had, count them, 8 people who gave him money in LD18. Wow. Now, everything else came from outside of the district or outside of Arizona. So, the guy, and he's very valuable to a lot of people outside of Arizona. There's the ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, which is this consortium of big business, and they like to run bills, and they know that he'll run the bills. And when
Okay, the audience here knows the American Legislative Exchange Council and I go way back.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are, let me tell you who they are. They want to have a national constitutional Article 5 convention to replace everything. That is their big push. And as we get into the economic problems nationally, they're going to be, the solution is, and you can kiss your Bill of Rights, goodbye.
Absolutely.
And he's right in the middle of this thing. Stephen Lemons from Phoenix NewTimes, PhoenixNewTimes.com, the feathered bastard. And he is. Hey, thanks for coming on with me, Stephen.
It's great as always.
All right, man. We'll be right back. I'll give you all the inside goodie on Quartzsite. With Quartzsite 10 officers are out there being honored. We'll be talking about when we come back. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.